All right, so the crypto market is in a bit of a tough position. You see, Bitcoin has been hovering above a key support for weeks now, despite good news. We've seen the SEC officially accept half a dozen or so spot Bitcoin ETF applications. We've seen good news come out from Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy, BlackRock, and many other major companies, but we haven't been able to break out of this key range. So today's video, I want to address a few important things going on with the technicals, the things you need to be aware of for Bitcoin, as well as news overall with the SEC, with inflows and outflows into the crypto market, and even potential presidential candidates allowing for Bitcoin in the US. So what we've seen right now is that Bitcoin and the overall crypto market is sitting at a $1.22 trillion market cap, the overall crypto market cap. We're seeing that Bitcoin is still hovering right around $30,000 per coin, and Ethereum right around $1,900 per coin. The only major move we have seen, if you look at a 7-day percentage, is pretty much with XRP, where we've seen a 71% move. We've also seen coins like Cardano and Solana have a pretty significant 7-day move, but overall the market has stayed the same for the last few weeks, and this isn't great. We've seen that Bitcoin is hovering on the weekly charts in a key range that we have talked about in almost every video, where Bitcoin is hovering between $28,500 and $32,000 per coin. And as I've said, and I'm going to continue to reiterate, Bitcoin needs to close above $32,000 per coin on the weekly time frame in order to confirm the next wave of the bull market. If it doesn't, I am expecting a retracement back down to around $25,000 per coin. And if you look at the daily charts, it just confirms this even more. We've seen that Bitcoin is hovering on an even tighter range between $29,500 and $31,500 for the last almost a month now. And this is something that you need to be aware of, because if you're looking at the 4-hour time frame, we've been hovering between this $2,000 range. You can use it for trading. I've done a few trades every time it's dropped to this dotted line. I've been buying every time it's hit this top line. I've been selling. I've done this twice now, but you need to keep an eye out on this range, because until we see a confirmation of a breakout, a full confirmation, we're just going to continue to trade sideways. So this isn't great news, because what we've seen is that there's been a lot of good news in the market, but it hasn't been able to move. It hasn't been able to push Bitcoin higher. It hasn't been able to, drop Bitcoin lower. We saw that. I wanted to quickly interrupt today's video to bring you a word from our channel partner, Lix, powered by Libra Incentix. Lix is a revolutionary loyalty management platform that is transforming the way that brands drive consumer engagement and purchases. With Lix, brands like fashion labels, restaurant chains, and sport clubs can leverage social media engagement and offer exciting rewards to their customers, all their followers, or users. Utilizing blockchain technology, ultimately, Lix automates loyalty reward settlement process and the reconciliation process through its smart contract, and it can provide a seamless and secure experience for users. Lix was chosen as the loyalty provider at the last FIFA World Cup, which was a huge deal in my opinion. It was able to showcase their expertise through strategic partnerships with Tamayas Commercial Avenue. Lix points became redeemable also at renowned fashion brands in Qatar, such as Calvin Klein, Tommy Hilfiger, and Levi's, and they're continuing to partner with major brands worldwide, which will unlock exclusive discounts and benefits for its users through the Lix mobile app. On top of all this, you can use Lix tokens to purchase Starbucks vouchers, as you can see the founder doing in this video right here on their Twitter. And on top of this, you could use them to purchase Apple vouchers, as you can see in this video as well. This ultimately will allow users to get their favorite products, favorite items at discounts, and this is something that you could do all through the Lix mobile app. The impressive lineup of partners onboarded by Lix is something that I haven't seen in the crypto or Web 3.0 space. We rarely come across projects that have this much utility, this many major partnerships with well-renowned companies in the crypto space. So this is something that really set them apart. The Lix token is available on Bitmart, MEXC, and LBank. So go ahead, check that out, join Lix on their journey, and unlock the full potential of loyalty programs and future rewards. The US SEC recently announced that they accepted 6 different spot Bitcoin ETF proposals. You would think that this is good news. This would be able to push Bitcoin above this range, break Bitcoin out, and start rallying to new yearly highs, but it didn't. We saw that the SEC, after initially rejecting spot Bitcoin ETF applications from BlackRock and Invesco and Fidelity and WisdomTree and a few other firms. Well, they initially rejected them, but these firms made a few different changes to the applications, and now the SEC has accepted these spot Bitcoin ETF applications. People are getting confused though, because they believe that when the SEC and all these news articles say that the spot Bitcoin ETFs were accepted, that means they were approved. They're two different things. Accepted basically just means that now these proposals appear on the Federal Register, and now they are going to go ahead and be able to decide whether or not to approve them or reject them. But this doesn't mean they're approved. It simply means that the SEC has taken the first step in recognizing the fact that these ETFs are, legitimate. They meet initial requirements, but it doesn't mean they're approved. It just means that now the SEC can go ahead and decide whether or not to approve or reject them. So people got confused with the word accepted, but that just means that now they're officially on the list of things that the SEC is going to decide on for the remainder of 2023. It means that we will get a decision in 2023 on whether or not a spot Bitcoin ETF is going to be approved. When we're looking at a few other things in terms of technicals, we can see that right now Bitcoin is in its longest bear market in history at 490 days. Many people are saying, well, this shows us that it's time for a breakout, but this isn't a pattern that you can necessarily bet on, what you can look at, because every single bear market in the history of Bitcoin has varied in length. It is not following a specific pattern. You can see in 2015, the bear market was 386 days. 2019, bear market technically was 204 days. You can't follow this metric because there is no specific pattern for how long the bear market has lasted in previous cycles. Previously, people used to think it had to do with the Bitcoin halving, but this really has been broken. So when you're seeing these things, yes, it's nice to know that this is the longest Bitcoin bear market that we have seen, but it doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to instantly start to reach new record highs or that it's going to happen in the next 30 days. It doesn't mean that. It just means that, look, now we are in more of a oversold territory, that people are still, not experiencing FOMO. There's not that so much excitement in the crypto market, and really just confirms to people in the market now that you're still early, because we have not officially entered into a bull market until we are reaching and breaking through previous bull market highs. Next thing I want to go over is going to be with regulations. What we've seen is that Robert F. Kennedy Jr., he vowed to back the US dollar with Bitcoin if he's elected president. And this has gotten a lot of people in the crypto space excited, because he has become more and more outspoken about Bitcoin. Ultimately, he stated a few different things. He said that he would make Bitcoin to the US dollar conversions exempt from capital gain taxes. He also said he would start by backing dollars and US debt obligations with hard assets such as gold, silver, platinum, or Bitcoin. He says this is going to start off in a very small amount, like 1% of T-bills would be backed by hard currency. So this is something that has gotten people very excited, because if we were to have a president, I'm not talking about any of his other policies, I'm just saying if we were to have a president that is more pro-Bitcoin, excited about the future of Bitcoin, that would be extremely good and extremely bullish for the overall crypto market. We would see a lot more money flow in. And speaking of money coming into the crypto market, we have seen that the last 4 weeks, there have been over $740 million of inflows into the crypto market. This started right after BlackRock submitted their Bitcoin spot ETF, even though it was rejected. So we have seen now 4 consecutive weeks of massive inflows. Last week, there was $137 million of inflows into digital asset investment products. You could see a vast majority is going into Bitcoin. Last week alone was $139.8 million into Bitcoin, which is by far the most. You can't even compare it. Ethereum actually had outflows, and this is because now we're finally starting to see some regulatory clarity on what's going on with spot Bitcoin ETFs. So this number is only going to skyrocket and increase more as we see more clarity on what the SEC plans to do with its, half a dozen or so spot Bitcoin ETFs. But I'm expecting more and more institutions to get involved as we continue to see more regulatory clarity. So this is something that is exciting, because while while we are seeing institutions start to pour hundreds of millions of dollars into digital asset investment products, into crypto, we're still seeing that Bitcoin hasn't really moved. So that is a very good sign, because that shows us that, despite everything going on in the market, despite having more money, more institutional players come in, we're still at a good buying opportunity for people who want to get involved, who might have not gotten involved previously, because we're still seeing that Bitcoin hasn't had that massive rally yet, hasn't had that massive breakout yet, and that is something that you could take advantage of if you haven't already. Last two things I want to go over is going to be one with Ethereum and one with not such great news in crypto. First is that Ethereum whale moved $116 million of ETH to Kraken. This is $116 million that was never moved, that remained dormant for the last 8 years since the Ethereum ICO took place. This could signal that, maybe there's something going on with Ethereum. People are looking into this, messaging me about this, but ultimately it could just mean that this person wants to take some profits, wants to sell some Ethereum, wants to have some cash on the sidelines, because having, that much Ethereum is probably this person's entire net worth. So I wouldn't look too much into this as in a bearish sign that he doesn't believe in the project long term, he doesn't believe in what's going on in crypto anymore. I would just say, look, maybe this person, it's been 8 years, they have $116 million, now they want to sell some. I wouldn't really read into that too much in terms of negative news. Last thing, which isn't great though, is that Kuwait recently banned crypto and virtual asset transactions. They basically banned all operations involving crypto, whether that's Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, it doesn't matter. They banned all operations involving that. That was took place on July 18th. That was from the Capital Markets Authority in Kuwait. So something just to keep in mind is that while there are a lot of countries in the world that are still bullish and excited about crypto, whether we're talking about El Salvador, the UAE, we're seeing, more and more countries get excited. There still are some that are outright banning crypto, that are against it, and I think this is going to change in the future, as we've seen China go back and forth on their stance on crypto. I think it'll probably happen with other countries as well. This is just a smaller country in the big scheme of things, but still, it's something that is worth noting.